Yamiritus, welcome to this week's Reporters and welcome most of all to our reporter, Maisa Awad. Great to see you.
Great to see you too.
Maisa's just back from Lebanon and does she have a report for you? Lebanon in the grip of demonstrations, unprecedented scenes across the whole country. Maisa and the team have been across the whole of Lebanon to bring us this report. And we're seeing, Maisa, in many ways, scenes that many people thought would never happen. A kind of uniting of the country behind one issue. What was the thing that really forced people onto the streets?
The protests combine multiple grievances, economical grievances and uproar against the political sect-based system. We know that the economy in Lebanon is suffering now. We know that we have a debt of $85 billion. The Lebanese lira is being devaluated. So basically, people in Lebanon were really worried. Another thing to be added is that there is a new generation that didn't live the civil war. They are fed up with this sectarian political system. They consider that their leaders right now didn't provide any of their basic needs, and they think it's time right now to turn the page. That's why the protests now, if you see, they came across different political parties, class, and also geographical places all across Lebanon.
Indeed. So this, what we're seeing is a unique situation. Maisa's report coming up right now. Let's take a look.
Unauthorized picnics in Zaytuna Bay, the chic marina of Beirut. Civil disobedience to fight the system.
It's forbidden to fish here.
This is supposed to be a public place, but they've privatized it. We don't have a right to do anything here anymore.
So we've decided to put what we're chanting into action. We're free. We're taking back our public space, that's all.
For the protesters, Zaytuna Bay is a symbol of the hated political class, seen by many as corrupt and caring more about business interests than them.
We're at home here, so we come to eat the food we can afford, what we love, not just food for the wealthy. It's forbidden to bring even just a bottle of water. If we're hungry, we have to eat at restaurants here, which we can't afford. We are not violent. We are happy people. The atmosphere is friendly. That is also part of the revolution.
A group of private contractors runs the marina concession. Among them, a former minister who's embroiled in a scandal.
The minister, Safadi, he rents all of this land for less than $2 a year.
$2 per square meter. They're filling their pockets.
They're making a fortune.
The former minister says he's being smeared and he's ready to answer the judges. But it will take much more than words to appease the anger on the street. On the front lines, Lebanon's youth, born after the civil war between Christians and Muslims that traumatized their parents' generation, they want to move forward.
This place dates back to the Civil War. Gunshots will be fired from here. It's nice to see these places open. We didn't have the right to enter here before, but it was taken back and made public by people who were part of the revolution. When I look at the street, I imagine people running away to avoid being shot, and I ask myself, what are they feeling in that moment? Look at all this destruction. Our generation has a complicated task. We're leading a revolution to fight against corruption and the economic situation. We're also going against our parents. Their generations made such a big mistake. They put people who were part of a war in power. They would hold civilians at checkpoints, and they would make these kinds of people leaders.
Lebanese gathered to denounce cronyism and inequality, denounce the politicians who've clung to power the past 30 years, and criticize the outsized role of religion.
This is our last opportunity. We don't have a choice. If we hold back, they'll crush us.
Places of power besieged, roads blocked, sit-ins in front of public companies accused of corruption. Just like the heart of Beirut, the whole country is on edge. In the face of the protests, the government is sticking to its guns. A strong show of support for President Michel Aoun from his followers. Many of them are Christians like the former army general.
Virgin Mary had twins Jesus and Michel Aoun.
In Lebanon, the president must be a Christian, while the prime minister must be a Sunni Muslim and the speaker of parliament a Shiite. Enshrined in the Taif Agreement signed in 1989, the accord ended the civil war. Now politicians stand accused of cronyism and favoring their separate communities. Martyrs Square. Many say they want an end to this denominational system. Maya's taken that a step further. Born into a family of Shia Muslims, she renounced Islam, the ultimate taboo in the conservative neighborhood where she grew up.
I live in a suburb south of Beirut, and so by default I was born Muslim like everyone else from that area. But I studied Islam and other religions, and frankly, I wasn't convinced. Of course, it took me a while to stop praying and doing the religious rituals. But in the end, I became an atheist. This, of course, shocked my parents.
Times are hard for Maya. Her family is angry with her, and her revolutionary fervor has attracted threats.
عرفت تفكيري نقتلكم ونخلص منكم بقى بس بنقول حرام خليهم يتظاهروا شوي يطالبوا بحقوق ما لازم كان نعتدي كان لازم نقوص على نصنا عرفت دفروا اسمعي
Threats that are to be taken seriously. On October 29th, henchmen armed with sticks and knives attacked the protesters' home base. They were supporters in the pay of Amal, the Shiite party of Nabi Berri, the Speaker of Parliament. The attackers came from this neighborhood near the city center, a stronghold of the Amal party. The Speaker of Parliament watches over the area, his image adorns the walls, and he enjoys popular support here.
We like President Berri. He's the one who fought for us. He worked hard for us. He found us work in the public sector in the best positions. He fought against Israel in southern Lebanon. It's true that there are poor people who are protesting, but there are also so many people who protest just to take selfies.
Which poor people are you talking about? The protesters? They have the best kind of life there is. Some of them eat plates of sushi that cost $10 each. And you want me to believe they are poor?
They are funded by suspicious people who want to destroy the country. They do not want Lebanon to succeed, that's for sure.
Let's be clear, this is a revolution by drug addicts, prostitutes, junkies, and whatever else you want. That's not a revolution.
Another Shiite party holds seats in the government, Hezbollah, or God's Party in Arabic. Party leader Hassan Nasrallah strikes a conciliatory tone, but the concern is palpable. Now on the street, the pro-Iranian party's hold over Lebanon is openly criticized. On the Day of the Martyrs, those who died fighting Israel or Syria are honored.
The protesters ignore what we have gone through. My father passed away. Our martyrs fought for them to defend their honor. Yet they put everyone in the same box.
They're political protesters. They're trying to disarm Hezbollah, and then they insult Hassan Nasrallah. You think that we've joined protesters that insult our father?
Further north in Tripoli, Lebanon's second largest city, young people are out protesting too. The city is predominantly Sunni. In Al-Noor Square, a focal point for the demonstrations, concrete letters spell the name of Allah. Like many young people here, Dana is unemployed. She has time to attend the protest with her mother.
What the pupils are learning here in the streets, it's the best lesson we could ever teach them.
Diplomas are just good for being hung on the wall, but what I want is to find a job.
At the start of the march, the teachers set the tone.
We're here to defend their dignity. It's so much more important than school. I don't want them to be forced to go and beg in front of a politician's door like I had to just to find this job. Because yes, I can say that I'm a teacher because a political leader pulled some strings. It's your revolution, and if it fails, it will be your fault. It's finished for us. We found work. We had to suck up to someone. This is your revolution. It's for you now.
What that teacher's saying is powerful.
Banks are not safe from the protests. The political unrest is aggravating an already dire economic situation. The state is heavily in debt. The Lebanese pound is losing value against the dollar, and the banks that are open are limiting withdrawals.
No money.
We are putting pressure on the state's institutions. It's the best strategy because these institutions take money and allow the state to enrich itself. We want to put an end to this.
This woman wants to cash a check for her medical care. Tripoli is one of the poorest cities in the Mediterranean, with a high unemployment rate. In some neighborhoods, half the people there live in poverty. For recent graduates like Bilal, the future looks bleak.
I've finished my studies. I'm an engineer. But I don't know if I'm going to stay in Lebanon or if I'm going to emigrate. I'm confused and I have no plans for the future. I finished my studies, but I can't find work. I've done internship after internship, but still no job.
I've also finished my studies. I've been working for the past 3 years, but I earn almost nothing.
Getting married is difficult. First, I don't have a job, so I don't have any income. Second, I have no clear vision of the future. So how can I start a relationship and build a common future with someone?
At our age, naturally, we want to start a family, but we don't have this luxury. I think I'm going to go into exile.
What's paralyzing is having no prospects.
That's what we're trying to change.
Yeah, for us and the next generation.
The spark is gone, we're not going back. We will continue to push till the end.
Tripoli's commitment to the cause has earned the respect of the Lebanese. Long marginalized, Lebanon's Sunni capital suffers from its image as a place infiltrated by radical Islam.
Tripoli is not a terrorist hotspot. It's a city that is deeply Lebanese. I'm Christian. I don't even like saying that I'm Christian. I consider myself to be Lebanese, and I assure you that these protests have nothing to do with religion. We come from far away, and we're here to show people that we're by their side.
In Tripoli, like the rest of Lebanon, feminists have been on the front lines of the demonstrations, protesting against sexism and the patriarchy.
It's a revolution against corrupt laws that differentiate between men and women and that forbid equality between men and women. To be a feminist, especially within Tripoli, isn't hard, but we face several challenges and are opposed by chauvinistic people.
Sarah's husband, Mohammed, was born in a Palestinian refugee camp. Like his parents, he's considered a second-class citizen without Lebanese nationality.
I can't find a job because I'm Palestinian. I'm a foreigner. And I don't want my children to suffer like this also.
And the problem persists. Their 2 children were born in Tripoli. Like their father, they are not Lebanese citizens.
A child can only receive nationality through their father. A Lebanese woman has no right to transfer nationality to her children if she marries a foreigner. It's my dream to give nationality to my children. It's an important feminist battle because there are children that don't have passports. Is this bus leaving straight away? My commute takes 4 to 5 hours every day. I work in Beirut in an NGO that specializes in education.
Lots of young people do the same. They travel to Beirut because there's a huge difference in the kind of salary you can earn there, compared to what you can in Tripoli.
I'm going to Beirut for a passport application. I've decided to leave the country. I can't stand it.
Every day, to get to the office, Sarah crosses Martyrs Square.
I love walking through the square in the morning. It gives me so much energy to start work. The protesters are here early to clean the square, to set up the program for the day's protest and for the evening. The square fills me with love and energy.
For now, the protesters have forced the Prime Minister to resign and avoided the trap of violence. Every day, they reassert their determination for change, to create a new social contract, to transcend class barriers and overcome religious and geographical differences.
The square is full to breaking point.
You won't believe what happens when we say the word Tripoli. You say Tripoli and people get so excited. As soon as they know we're from Tripoli, they congratulate us. I've never felt something like this before. It's amazing.
Maisa Awad is still with us. Maisa, yourself, Romeo Longwa, George Yazbek and Nadia Massi with that fascinating insight into Lebanon right now. It is a great situation. The street has brought down at least one prime minister. People are still calling for more change. There is, of course, the question of Hezbollah and their position. Explain about that.
Of course, because Hezbollah is a major party in Lebanon. It had 3 ministers in the government. We know that the first speech of the General Secretary of Hezbollah, Hassan Nasrallah, after the beginning of the protests, criticized those protests. Also, he raised the questions about the aims behind those protests, saying that people should get out of the streets, and he warned against a civil war being, taking place again in Lebanon. Later on, he said that he acknowledges the fact that Lebanese people are going through a lot economically, but its negative, point of view against these protests definitely was translated in the base of this party. Let's hear to one supporter of Hezbollah what she had to say to us.
They are political protesters. They are trying to disarm Hezbollah, and then they insult Hassan Nasrallah. You think that we would join protesters that insult our father?
So, Maisa, it's clear that Lebanon is very different from the countries around it in the Middle East, but there are demonstrations happening in other Middle Eastern states. So, what is very different and what is so different about Lebanon? Maybe
here we should point out the position of the Lebanese army. From the very first beginning, the general, the head-in-chief of the Lebanese army said it's not going to use force against protests. And maybe this is what created a real difference if you want to compare the scene in Lebanon to the scene in Iraq, for example. So basically, this institution, the Lebanese army, which is an institution that is respected by Lebanese people, remains in a very neutral position. And for the time being, it remained respected by the protesters and by those who are against these protests.
Maisa, thank you. A report by Maisa Awad, Romeo Longwa, George Yazbek and Nadia Massi. See it again via our website, france24.com. This is Reporters. Thank you for watching. Stay with us.